Over the last quarter century, Marcia and I have shared the same types of experiences that my parents did. We have made every life decision together. When we had been together for just 2 years, Marcia and I had the discussion that I believe all loving couples have early in their relationship. Would we have children? It was heart-wrenching for us to decide not to raise children. At that time, we did not believe that our public institutions accepted the children of same-sex couples, and we did not want our children to endure the prejudices and discriminations that we had known. We believe that has changed somewhat, but it is too late for us. Between 1990 and 1998, Marcia became seriously ill with what was finally and ultimately diagnosed as peripheral vascular disease. She had over 25 surgeries, which ultimately left her in a wheelchair due to diminished circulation and loss of a leg. During those horrific years, it was the surgeons who recognized and honored the fact that our relationship had all the bonds of marriage. What I'm asking of you now is to recognize our relationship for what it really is, with all the associated rights and benefits that the state provides for this kind of personal commitment to each other.
I am an openly gay member of the Maryland House of Delegates, and I remember the day that this committee passed legislation that made it illegal to discriminate against me for housing, employment, and public accommodations solely because I am gay. That day was 10 years ago, just 10 years ago. On my desk, a postcard that was sent to me by 2 constituents. And if you see this postcard, you see 2 women and their little boy. This little boy deserves the same protections that my nieces and nephew have in Maryland law. And by the way, so do his moms. So do his moms.
I get up and I go to work every day as an assistant state's attorney in Anne Arundel County, where I prosecute burglars and people who commit acts of domestic violence and handle appeals from district court. I like to bike, I like to read, and I'm gay. And as your colleague on this committee, as your colleague in the House of Delegates, and as a Marylander, I'd ask for your favorable report on this legislation.
For those of you who do not know her, I would like to recognize my spouse, Deborah, who's here. Deb is with me today because this debate is not about abstractions. This debate is not about definitions. It's about thousands of families who will be protected by this law. Our relationship is built on love, mutual respect, admiration, and fidelity. Marriage is not always easy. Ours has been tested profoundly. But what pulls us through each and every time is the depth of our love and commitment to each other and forever. What pulls us through each time is our commitment and faith in God and our commitment and faith in each other. Our marriage is deeper, more complex, and everlasting today than I ever could have imagined it being. We take that pledge. We make an everlasting commitment to each other. We live in love, and we live as families. You cannot take that away. We are all of that, regardless of whether or not this bill passes. But what we need is the same respect that when we make those commitments, when we say forever, that the state helps to uphold that promise and protect us in the same way that it does for every other couple.
People like me create loving families. People like me create lasting partnerships. People like me who yearn for the state to recognize those families, to protect those partnerships with the same love that we feel for each other. Loving and committed couples are treated by our state as if they have never met each other. as if decades spent honoring, loving, and protecting each other never happened. These people are my people. They are my friends. They are my community. And they are your constituents. They are Marylanders, just like you. And their pain is real. And we have the power to end it.
Like everyone else on this panel, I see this as a very important civil rights issue. Also, I do very much believe in the sanctity of marriage, and I wish to have what my parents have had for over 50 years here in the state of Maryland, and I'd like to do it in their lifetime.